How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and today we are back with another Understanding How to Build series where we go over all the leaders in a given set to help you understand how to build them to suit you and your playstyle. Now we have done all the blue leaders, so we have done all the blue ones being like Finn, Ray, Gar Saxon, and Kira. So if you want to check those ones out, go have a look back at our previous videos to check them out. Because for now we're starting in green and we're starting off with Hondo Onaka, the Smuggle leader. Now we do have 5 leaders in this in green, but we're going to leave Moff Gideon. That's the one. Moff Gideon till last because we're going to leave the starter ones to last to kind of do them separately. But if you're interested in Hondo, feel free to keep watching, and also remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It keeps you updated with my videos as when they drop, and then you can always click the notification bell to get alerts to when videos do drop, so you can watch them there and then or at a later time that suits you. Now we're going to get into the video. Remember, if you are looking for a list, we don't give out lists in this. We're just giving out information and advice to help you out, to help you understand how to build it. Not just lists for you to just pick up, play, and try out. If you're looking for that, look for different ones. So, before we get into the kind of understanding what different aspects and stuff they have and what the benefits of the aspects are, we're going to have a look at the leader first, because it's pointless having a look at what they kind of offer without understanding what the leader does, because some leaders are quite generic, while others have themes, and Hondo is one with a theme, because he's all about smuggling. So Hondo Onaka, that's good for business. He gives you access to the command and villainy traits, which are the blue and black ones. And those are relevant because you can play any card you want in this game, put any card in your deck. But when it comes to playing the actual card, if you have aspects on that card that don't match what's in your leader or base, you have an aspect penalty to pay, which is an extra 2 in addition to its actual cost. So if you say had a Hondo here with green and black with a Vigilance base, which is blue, if you want to play a card that had green on, blue on, or just black, or a combination of green, black, green, blue. Or green, black, or blue, black. You don't have to pay an aspect penalty because they match what's on your leads. You can play them out with what their printed costs are. But if you want to play a red card, red doesn't match what's on your leader base. You have to pay an extra 2 on top of its cost. And if you want to play a red, white one, then you have to pay an extra 4 because 2 aspects don't match, being the red and the white. So you have to pay an extra 4 on top of the cost, on top of the card to play it. So that is what the why it is relevant and what aspects you have on your base and lead. So do remember, because some cards are worth paying the aspect penalty, some cards aren't. So you have to remember what the effect does and what the aspect penalty is to see if you want to play a card. But for Hondo, he deploys as early as turn 5 when he gets to 6 resources. He has the underworld trait on both sides, and he has pretty nice stats. He comes down with 3 power, which is pretty good, and 7 health, which is very nice. Not only that, he also has raid 1, so when he's attacking, he gets an extra power, but when he's attacked, he only deals 3 back. So he swings harder than he swings harder when he's doing the attacking than when he's being attacked into. Not only that, but you have an effect on both sides of the leader, which is all about smuggling. So he's got the smuggle focus. Because smuggle is a new new keyword in this set, meaning that it's basically all about resourcing, playing cards from your resource. Because what smuggle allows you to do is play a card from your resource using the smuggle class, which is normally more expensive than the card actually is, and offer aspects of it the same or different to the card. And then playing it from your resources, as long as you can pay the cost, and then replacing itself in the resource with the top card of your deck. So when you do play a card using Smuggle with Hondo, you get to exhaust the leader, and if you do get an experience token to a unit, be it in that unit you play, a different unit you control, or one of your opponents, maybe not want to give it to your opponent, but you can give it to a unit. And then when he's deployed, it's got the same kind of effect. Just now you don't have to exhaust the leader. Just when you play a card using Smuggle, you can give an experience token to a unit. And not only do you have an option to play it on the card itself, a different card you control, or when your opponents, you can give it to your Hondo himself. So you can keep smuggling out cards and make Hondo stronger and stronger and stronger, so he stays out there to help out, and then hits a lot harder when he swings. And it's harder to take down. So that's the benefit of Hondo. He's also a common leader, but then he's all about smuggle, so you've got to think about what smuggle cards you have in your deck, what you put in your deck, and what ones you have access to, because the better smuggle cards and the more smuggle cards you have, the better you can get a Hondo. Not only that, he has a showcase, and his showcase is one of the better ones in my opinion. It looks a lot nicer because it's very vibrant with the colors and it looks really cool. Plus, with the art is a lot different to what it has. Where he's just with his rubbing his hands like he's about to do a deal and come to an arrangement and get a good deal. He's just there celebrating, showing off his crew and stuff. Now, art is subjective, so if you don't like it, you don't have to like it. In my opinion, it's one of the better showcases from the set, with like half of them being not great and half of them being pretty nice. And Hondo is certainly one that I feel is pretty nice. Not only that, but you got to look at what smuggle cards you have. Now, each different aspect has smuggle cards, and you can have cards that can smuggle in either on upgrades. And basically, remember, Hondo gets a boost from when you smuggle any card in, not a certain type of card, just when you smuggle a card in. So you can smuggle in an upgrade, a unit, or an event card, and this will trigger Hondo. And you have some units that have just basically the same aspect in their smuggle cost as the card itself, and some that have a different aspect in the smuggle cost compared to the card's actual aspect. So, for example, Hot Shot Blaster and Tobias Beckett here, they both have the cost of Hot Shot Blaster being 1 cost with the red aspect, Aggression, while Tobias is 4 cost with the yellow aspect, Cunning. But for the cost, Hot Shot Blaster, if you smuggle it in, it requires 3, so a little bit more than its actual cost, but it has the Cunning aspect, meaning you can play it in a deck that has Cunning without needing Aggression among it, because you can always smuggle it in rather than play its actual cost. And Tobias has the small cost of 5, so 1 more instead of 2, and the blue aspect Vigilance for its smuggle cost. So these ones allow you to play the card itself in a deck that doesn't have the aspect of the actual aspect it has on the card, but you can still play it out because the aspect on the smuggle is different, and you can play it out that way. Not only that, but you have it on the events like Timely Intervention and Convert Strength, which are like event ones, which are quite cheap. But they have small cost, which is the same aspect, but a little bit more cost, like Timely Intervention, you pay it for 1 from your hand, or you can smuggle it in for 2, as long as you've got green aspects, the same aspect. And Covert Strength is 1 cost from your hand. If you smuggle it in, it costs 3. So this the thing with Hondo is that the more and better smuggle cards he has, the better he is. So you got to always take into account what smuggle cards you have, as well as what cards you have access in the aspects. And the different aspects we do have is these different combinations, because remember, along with your leader you have a base, and your base has 1 aspect on, where your leader has 2. So your leader always has either the Villainy aspect black, or the Heroic aspect white on it. Along with that you have a color aspect being either Command green, Vigilance blue, Aggression red, or Cunning yellow. So Hondo is going to provide you with the black and green, and with your base you can have one of different aspects, have different combinations. You can either have, with Hondo and a blue base, you can have green blue. With Hondo and a green base, you can have double green. Hondo and a red base gives you green red, and then Hondo and a yellow base gives you green yellow. Now, before we get into the benefits of each of these different combinations for Hondo, you first got to think about the ratios, because you can have either a free 2 or copies of a card, and they have different benefits depending on the card. Like for example, copies of if you want 3 copies of a card, that's normally cards you want to see as early as possible, or see a copy of it as early as possible, or see as many as possible. So Dr. Pershing here is a good example, because it's a 2 cost unit, meaning you can play as early as turn 1. Pretty decent stats, no power, but does have a very good bulk at 5, and has a very nice effect where by tapping him, deal damage to a friendly unit, be it itself or whatever one you control, you can draw a card. I mean, you can gain more cards, main options, and it's a very good card. Especially if you look at that, it's a very nice card. Play as early as turn 1, get you some more advantage, and something that you want to see as early as turn 1, so you'll see many of them as possible, so you can put some maximum copy in. But cards you might want to have only 2 copies of are things like Previous Prisla, which is a very high costing card at 7, very good stats still and very nice effect. But if you see this early, or lots of them early, they're not going to be great in your hand. They're either going to clog up your hand or be resourced, and if it doesn't have Smuggle, then it's going to be cards that you're going to have lost and not be able to get back. So you might want to run some bigger costing events of cards you don't really want to see as early as possible, or as many as possible early. You might want to have lower quantities at 2. So that way you don't see as many as possible, don't see a lot early. Hopefully you don't see them early, and then you see them later in the game when you want them, and then can play them. And then lastly, we have the 1 copy of a card being more of like tech choices, cards that you put in for then unique for that certain matchup, or cards you think could be useful in a given matchup or a certain point in the game that you might want to try out. Like Finalizer being a good one here, where it's a very good effect, allowing you to choose any number of your friendly units, and each one of those units captures an enemy non-leader unit in the same arena. So very good, but you require a board to set that up. Plus, it's a very heavy costing card at 11 costs, being very expensive, but having good stats at 11, and also Overwhelm. So this is when you want at the very end of the game, but you need a board when it does come to playing it, because otherwise it's not going to be as useful. So you might want to take just 1 copy in, so if it does come up when it comes to the later game, you've got it, and if it doesn't come up, then you just don't have it, you don't have to worry about it. So hopefully that helps you understand about the ratios, about when you want either 3, 2, or 1 copies of a card. to help you out with building it. Now we've got all that over done with, let's go and have a look at different aspect combinations and what benefits they give. So with double green, the main thing about double green is for set 1 it wasn't the greatest because, well, double aspects in general, not double green, because double aspects meant that you normally had access to 2 different aspects. If you had 2 different aspects, you have access to, say, if you had green blue, you have access to all the green cards and all the blue cards. But for going double aspect for set 1, you sacrifice a whole different aspect of cards, so heavily limiting your card pool to have access to 3 double aspect cards. And in double green, it wasn't great because Crow and Attack Pattern Delta weren't the best, but Command was very nice. So essentially, you were playing double green to have access to Command, which was great for some, was alright for, say, 1 or 2 leads, but wasn't great for the other ones. So it's kind of like not a great thing to do. But now with a second set, it's actually doubling all different cards, so doubling the double greens, the greens and the blacks, and all different aspects. You now have a bigger card pool, meaning you have more options, and even with more double green cards, more reason to kind of go for it. And not only that, but you do also get access to the bases as well. And while set 2 did not give us any more rare bases, it did give us rare bases set 1, and they were still pretty strong and still there. So the options between bases is either a 30 health a base with no health, or with no effect, so no effect, but a maximum amount of health at 30. Or you can go with one of the rare bases, and in terms of the rare bases, they are 25 health, so 5 left health for the bases with no effect, but they come in with effects. And for green, it's Energy Conversion Lab with a very strong effect, one of the most overused bases in the game for a majority of us, especially for the beginning, maybe not as much so at the end, but because it has a very strong effect of an epic action, meaning you can use it once per game, same as deploy, you can use it once per game, and once it's used, that's it, it's gone. And this effect is to allow you to play a unit that costs 6 or less from your hand and give it ambush. Now you do still have to pay the cost of the card, so if you want to play out a card with this, you still have to pay the actual cost of the card, you didn't play it for free, but you give it ambush, not aspect, ambush. And that's a very good keyword because it allows you to restand the unit and attack another opponent, one of your opponent's units same turn it's played. When normally you play a card, it comes in rested. Ambush allows you to ready and attack opponent's unit, not their base, a unit in the same phase or in the same time you play it. So it's a very good keyword skill, very good effect, but you've got to think about, is it worth losing 5 extra health in your base, which could help if you're against aggression where you could potentially lose before you even get to do things, where the amount of attacks that come down. Not only that, but by going double green, you lose access to a different aspect without the aspect penalty, but have access to these double aspect cards. And for set 1, we had General Crow, being a 5-cost unit with 5/4 stats, making every ever friendly unit have the when defeated draw a card, so can draw you more, but then it's kind of vulnerable as a unit. Attack Pattern Delta, which allows you to, for a 3-cost event, select 3 units and give the first one plus 3/3, second one plus 2/2, and the third one plus 1/1, all different units, not the same unit, for that phase. You make 3 units a little bit stronger, but it wasn't as great, never really saw play. But then you've got Command being a very nice unit. Every aspect had one of these unit events, or one of these double aspect cards, being a 4-cost event, named the same after the aspect it's for, and giving you a choice of 2 effects from 4 among them. And Command's a really nice one because the options are either to give 2 experience to a unit, which makes something stronger by 2/2, which is very good. Weaken down of a different effect, being allowing a friendly unit to deal damage to a non-unique enemy unit. So ones that aren't unique are the ones without stars in front of their name. If they've got stars and like a little subtitle, they're unique. So the only problem with that is that you can't touch leaders or any like unique cards, which are a good majority of them. So not as great as things like Strike True, but still an option on there. It's just a shame it has to be a non-unique unit. The next one is it being around one of the ramp cards because it allows you to put this event into play as a resource so you can ramp it. And the last one is allowing you to return a unit, 3 units got a pile to your hands, any unit back to your hand. I mean, you can grab back one of the ones you've lost and giving you just basically a good way to kind of recur stuff. So like Command is a very good one, giving you like very good options. 3 of them better than some, well, most of them, like 3 of them's really good. The hitting the unit is kind of like dependent on if it's unique or not, but giving a boost to a unit, using it to ramp to increase your resources, or grabbing something back from your discard so you can play it again is very nice. And now with set 2 we get some more, and we get a good one for Hondo because it's Enterprising Lackeys, being a card with Smuggle. Now its Smuggle cost is 2 green, just like its actual cost, but it's a smuggle cost of 6, so you pay if you want to smuggle it in to get benefit from Hondo. you pay 6 for it. But if you just want to play it normally, you can pay it for 4, which and is pretty good for a 4 cost 5/5. Is pretty nice. So like it's cheaper than Krell by 1, but then it also has more health, and like a 4 cost 5/5 is very good. And then when defeated, if you may defeat a friendly resource, you can basically just defeat one of your resources. And if you do put this card into play as a resource, you can like always make sure you've got in your resources to basically smuggle. So meaning that you can smuggle it out if it dies, come back, smuggle it again, and basically keep using that. So you've always got a smuggle target for Hondo, which is a very good way to kind of do it. Then you got Enforced Loyalty, being a 2 cost event, allows you to defeat a friendly unit. And if you do, draw 2 cards, like kill one units, draw 2 cards, not too bad. And then you got Endless Legion, being a 14 cost event, so a very high cost event, but with a very strong effect because it allows you to reveal any number of your resources you control and play each unit revealed this way for free. So you can free play out all the different units in your resources out for free from this. So you can actually swarm a whole board, but you have to ramp up a lot of resources to it, 14 resources and see this card. So it's a very gimmicky one, but it's a fun gimmick to try out if you want to. So those are the benefits of the double aspects. Then you do lose access to a different aspect, but you do get access to these strong cards. Plus, you've got more green cards thanks to set 1. So if you want to play a focus ramp and kind of like focus on Endless Legion, having like basically a recurring constant smuggle target in Enterprising Lackeys, then this is a good way to play it. Plus, you've got maximum ramp in command, super laser blast, and resupply as well. Now, if you want to go for blue is I forgot to say about like what the kind of aspects want to do, but past command we'll go over Vigilance. So Vigilance is an aspect all about playing defensively and healing along with removing units from play using events, and also protecting your base from any attacks by using like sentinels and also healing as well. This is an aspect that's perfect if you want to play patiently and basically keep taking hits, healing out, and then basically grinding out for a very grindy kind of game. So if you're interested in that, then Visions is a good one for you because it has the same kind of thing where its bases are 30 health and no effect, but its rare base, once again, is 25 health, but its epic action is to give a shield token to a non-leader unit, and you can protect a unit once from damage once, essentially. But the good thing about playing blue is that blue-green is a good combination for the dark side because that's some very good units. Like you have some good new ones as well. Like you have Dr. Persian, what we've gone over before, a very nice one you can play turn 1, and they can start giving you more cards, have more options when it comes to resourcing and playing out cards. You also have Long Pike, which is a card you can smuggle in. Now I can't really see from this from the picture because it's quite small of the smuggle cost, but I think it's 5 or 6, and it's like blue and black. Or you can play it for 4 and play it normally. But so there's a card you can smuggle in with Hondo to kind of get used to Hondo's effect. And it's a pretty nice one because when it attacks, along with some good stats of 4/6, allow you give a shield token to an enemy unit and give a shield token to a friendly unit. So you can give a shield token to any friendly unit you control, and then you can give a shield token to whatever unit you care. Like if you're not going to space, you can keep one of their spaceships that's kind of weak. Shield while giving one of your ground units that's stronger. I'll give shield to kind of have it protected. You got Gideon Hask as well, which when an enemy unit is defeated, you can give an experience token to your friendly units, add on with Hondos as well, and comes down with pretty good stats at a 5 cost 5/5. And you've also got First Light being a good space unit you can come in with Smuggle as well, because it smuggles for the same cost as its actual cost, 7 for blue black, but also has an additional cost to smuggle, meaning you need to also deal as a cost 4 damage to a friendly unit. So not only do you smuggle it out for its cost, you have to deal 4 damage to your unit. And it comes down with grit, also giving each of a friendly non-leader unit grit, so all every units gain grit, and comes with pretty nice stats at 4/7, which is not too bad. Not only that, but the Dark Side of Blue also has some good events, in like Power Dark Side being a very good like removal event that gets better the least amount of the less cards your opponent has on board, the better it is. The more cards your opponent has on board, the worse it kind of gets. You also have the non-dark side of blue as well. You got Regional Governor here being a good one that allows you to play it out and call a card, and your opponent can't play it while this card's out. So you keep that protected and put the experience from smuggling on Regional Governor to keep it big, quick, healthy, hard to remove, and it locks your opponent out of a certain card, or even shields like the Security Complex. You also have Embo, which is an underworld card, kind of goes with Hondo. 3 cost 3/4 allows you to heal things, because when it completes an attack, If the defender was defeated, so if you attack a unit and defeat it, you can heal the 2 damage from the unit, being itself or another one as well to keep healing things. You also have Vigilant Pursuit Craft, being a smuggle target, I think being a smuggle for 7 and blue or 6 1 blue, and it comes in as a 3/5 space unit with Sentinel. Not too bad, but it's another card you can smuggle in with Hondo. You got Covert Strike. If you've already kind of seen this one, you can smuggle in, but its effect is to heal 2 damage from a unit and give it experience token to it, like kind of bit of heal and bit more experience on a card. And you got Rivals Fall, being a kind of way to like an upgraded version of Vigilance, Vanquish. That's the card, being an event that for 6 allows you to defeat any unit, even a leader. So like now we have removal instantly for leaders in it, but it's very costly at 6, but it's kind of worth it if you take it out a leader, which could cause you trouble. So with Vigilance out of the way, we've also got Aggression. So for Aggression, this is kind of like how the name is, like the name of Aggression kind of like explains what it does. Because with Aggression, you want to attack as efficiently and dish out attack as efficiently as possible, like dishing out loads of damage. It could be damage either to your opponent's base or dishing out damage on your opponent's units with effects. And this aspect is a perfect fit for if you want to play a very fast-paced, like aggressive playstyle. Break through your opponent's defensively if they try to put some up, and then just basically throw damage at your opponent until you win. That's essentially how Aggression wants to play, and it does that through its even through its base, because it's got the normal 30 health basis with no effect, and its rare base as an effect is deal 3 damage to undamaged non-leader unit. Now you can't just throw out 3 damage; that'll be a bit too unfair. But you can deal 3 damage to a unit that's already damaged. If you try to take something out but didn't quite get there, attacking down can help you finish the job. Not only that, but you have some very good units in the Dark Side of Red as well. That you have some new ones like Django Fett and Cunning, which are pretty nice units. That they both have cheap costs at 4 and 5. They both have 3 power, but they got different health. Like Django has 6, Cunning has 7, and they have effects more revolving around bounty if you want to play that. Like there's a good bounty for green being price on your head, which allows you to ramp when the bounty is collected. So you got that option there. And then Django's got the while attacking a unit with bounty, it gains an extra 3 power and overwhelm. So if any damage from that attack exceeds the unit after you defeat it, then you put that on your opponent's base. And also nice effect when it attacks and defeats a unit, you draw a card. So if you attack and defeat a unit, you can draw a card, which is pretty nice there to get you more things. And in Cunning, when he's played, if an enemy unit has a bounty, you can ready it, so you can basically play it out and then have it ready to attack with. If your opponent has something with bounty, could be a bounty on a card that has a bounty on it already, or you can put a bounty on it to have this kind of trigger. And then on attack, you can choose a ground unit, and you may deal 1 damage to it for each damage on this unit. So the more damage he takes, the more damage he dishes out when he attacks. So that's pretty nice there. Then you got Pre-Vizsla, being a very good one, a 7 cost, 7/8, so pretty nice stats, pretty high costing. But when he's played or attacks, you can pay the cost of an upgrade attached to another non-vehicle unit. Remember that even tokens and experience have cost. They have cost of 0, so you can still pay 0 to basically choose them. And if you do, you take control of that upgrade. So normally an upgrade, if your opponent plays on your card, they still control the upgrade, but it's on your card. Same with you, if you can put an upgrade on your opponent's card, you still cannot control the upgrade, but it's on your opponent's cards. But you get to take control of that upgrade and attach it to this unit. And if it can't attach to this unit, you defeat that unit upgrade instead. So if you take an upgrade and it can't go on Pre-Vizsla, then it gets defeated. But if you can be put on it, goes on Pre-Vizsla. So taking shields and experience of your opponents, put on himself, is a pretty nice effect. Then you got Ruthless Vader here, being a pretty nice one of a space unit, 6 cost, 4/6. And when played or when defeated, deals 2 damage to an enemy base and to an enemy unit as well. So being a bit aggressive there with space unit damage. And you got Force Choke, allowing you to kind of take things out by allowing you to, for 2, do 5 damage to a non-vehicle unit, but then that unit's controller draws a card, so take out your opponent's unit or your own unit if you want to draw a card and trigger when defeated. And if you control a Force unit, it costs 1 less. That's pretty nice there, removal in that event. And then you've got some cards in the non-dark side of Red, and you've got a fair few smuggle cards. You've got Reckless Gunslinger here, which is a very cheap unit, not very weak one. 1 cost, 2/1, but when played, you can deal damage to a base, and you can smuggle it in for, I think it's 3 on top of its aggression. You got Hotshot Blaster, being a nice little upgrade that allows you to equip it to a non-vehicle unit, and you can either pay one and have pay 1 for it to give a 2 cost upgrade, 2 power upgrade to a unit, or smuggle it in if you have yellow. for free, and then trigger its when played with using Smuggle effect, which allows you to attack with the attached unit. So you can play this either with red with Hondo or with yellow with Hondo, depending on what you want to do. But if you do want to smuggle it in, you do want to more put it on the yellow side. And you have Arm to the Teeth, another card you can smuggle in, a 2-cost event that smuggles in for 4. It gives once again another 2 power to the unit, and it means that the unit now gains an on attack, giving every friendly unit 2 power for this phase. So a pretty nice upgrade to kind of put on Hondo himself to kind of power up the rest of the units, and also smuggle out to give the experience to him as well. So you can technically smuggle this in on a unit to give it the upgrade at plus 2 power, and then experience from Hondo to give extra 1/1 to its stats as well. Not only that, but you have some very nice events to kind of like spread damage out with Open Fire, where for free cost, you can deal 4 damage to a unit, or Bomb and Run, where you can do 5 for 5 cost. You can choose any arena, either space or ground, and deal 3 damage to all units in that arena, being yours and your opponent's. But you potentially, if you haven't got anything in space that your opponent has, deal 3 damage to all their space units, take them out, or make them almost ready to be defeated. So that's Aggression. Now we'll move on to the next one, and that is Cunning. So Cunning's a little bit different. Cunning's more controlling, because with Cunning, you want it allows you to adapt to any situation basically at a whim, with some very powerful immediate effects and lots of tools for disrupting your opponent from what they want to kind of do. And this aspect is perfect for if you want to play a very like responsive kind of aspect, so like response to their threats pretty quickly and have an answer for anything they want to try and basically throw at you. So if that's the kind of idea you like, kind of way you want to play the game, then Cunning could be a good one for Hondo. And its rare base for it is City, which, yep, it actually isn't great. It allows you to give a non-leader unit -4 power for that phase. You can make something weaker, so it has can't really do as much damage to you for this phase, or it's easy to attack and take out without taking too much damage back. Now, for the dark side of yellow, you got some pretty nice ones. You got like Bazine Natel, which is a very nice one. Like you can even smuggle in. The smuggle cost, I think it's 4, and Cunning and black. Well, yeah, yellow and black. And it's a 2-cost normally, so a good one to play turn 1 if you want to play it normally. And it's 1 free, but allows you to, when played, look at your opponent's hand, make them discard 1 card of your choice from their hand, and if you do, then they draw a new card. So you can look at your opponent's hand, so have that hand knowledge, rip out a card from your hand you don't want there, and then they draw a card to replace that. But at least that way you know what they got, apart from the card they just drew, and you can kind of disrupt the turn 1 play or a play they do previously. That's good for early game and even late game as well. And even by smuggling in late game, you can kind of like have a control by putting some experience on something and also disrupting what they want to play from the hand. You also got Jabba, which makes good use of some of the trick events. You've got a fair few trick events among, well, some across many different aspects now, and also a fair few in yellow. And she makes all the trick events you play cost 1 less. When played, allow you to search the top 8 cards of your deck for a trick event to reveal it and draw it. And now he's a 4-cost unit, but he's only got 2 power, which isn't that great, but he's got a good 8 health, which is very, very bulky. And not only that, we've also got Dryden Voss while being a legendary for the set too, which is pretty nice. Because he's a 7-cost card. Good stats of 5/7, so same stats as Vader, but instead of ambush, he has shielded, so he comes in protected. But then when he is played, you can choose a capture card by a unit you control. You may play it for free under your control. And there are ways to kind of capture cards. Like there is one we'll probably see in a bit. There are ways to kind of capture your opponent's cards, and you've got some in green and some in yellow, so good ways to kind of capture things, like kind of pirates want to do. They want to capture stuff, take things that they want. And Trident's a good way to kind of make use of those cards you have captured, but rather than let your opponent have them back, by forcing them to be under your control using Dryden, which is pretty nice. You also have some good events in like No Good to Be Dead, a card that you can lock cards down, because you can exhaust the unit and then make it so it can't ready this round. And not only that, it locks down for 2 turns, because how the turns work is where you have your main phase where you play your cards, deploy leaders and stuff like that, and pay resources to do stuff. You have that at the beginning, where normally you would go with the step to kind of like draw, charge, and restand things at the beginning, and then the action phase at the end. Well, after, and then restart the turn, begin with the resupply. In Star Wars, you start off with the action phase as your first phase, and the end of the turn is when you do the resupply phase, where you like draw resource and untap. So basically, when the next turn starts, is at the end of the turn, which is still the same turn you play No Good Be Dead, where they can't restand, and the next turn is then still rested from the previous turn. So no good to me dead can lock things down, keep them rested for 2 turns, which is very nice. And you got triple dark raid as well. So this is all about vehicles. If you play a few vehicles in your deck, this could be a very good one to have. Because a free cost event allows you to search the top 7 cards of your deck for a vehicle and play it for 5 less than its actual cost. And it enters play ready as well, and then you return it back to its owner's hand under the phase. So you're paying 3 to play out a vehicle from the top 7 in your deck and play it for its cost plus 5 less. So if it's less than 5, you play it for free. If it costs 5 more, it costs 5 less than what it is. So if it's 6 costs, it costs 1, and things like that. Enters play ready, so you can attack straight away and make use of effects. But then at the end of the turn, it goes back to your hand. But then you can always you have it in your hand. You can play it out again next turn. So pretty nice card. And on the non-dark side of yellow, you got a pretty nice one. Like already we've seen, you got Spider's Bracket you can play out. And this is one you can smuggle in. You can even play it in blue. You don't have to have yellow. You can play it in blue to smuggle it out to make use of Hondo. Should probably put in the blue cards instead. You have some good cards to go with Underworld. You got Gamorrean cards. It's a good kind of like Sentinel to kind of protect Hondo from being attacked by having out. Because while you have another Cunning unit on play, he gains Sentinel. He's a 4-cost 4/4. You got McClunky as well, which is a trick you can go with Jabba. And an Underworld card as well. So if you're looking for Underworld cards, it is one. And it allows you to return a friendly non-leader Underworld unit to its owner's hand to do 3 damage to your opponent's unit. So you basically put something back in your hand so you can play it back out for a non-player, make use of it like Sage Ride and stuff like that. And then allow you to do 3 damage to a card, which is pretty cool. You also got like events or upgrades you can smuggle out, like a jetpack here. Like you can either pay 2 for it to put a 2+ power upgrade on the card, or smuggle it in for 4, putting doing the same thing. And you can't attack it to a vehicle, but you can attack it to a non-vehicle. And when played, it gives a shield token to the attached unit. So not only do you give an extra 2 power from the upgrade to the unit and experience from Hondo, but you also give a shield to the unit. And at the start of the regroup phase, you defeat that shield token. But the good thing about Jetpack is you're going to be playing it to get the shield token plus power, so you can swing into something, pop the shield so you don't take the damage back, and swing and take out something rather than go for base. Like Jetpack is a good one for going into units to try to take him out, because you get that shield to protect you from damage, plus you're stronger, and then you might, like, the good thing is you want to attack a unit around a base because you're going to be losing the shield anyway. Might make use of it and attacking a unit to kind of make use of that shield. Not only that, you have Evacuate. So if you go with the whole focus of smuggling things out but giving the boost to Hondo when he's deployed, then you can make some good use of Evacuate, where you can keep putting the experience on Hondo and then use Evacuate to return each non-leader unit back to his owner's hand, and basically have it back there. So it only costs 6, but yeah, expensive, but it's worth it. And if you keep putting the experience on Hondo, you can use Evacuate to kind of bounce all the rest of the board except from Hondo and your opponent's leader if they have it deployed. And then Hondo's still there with the experience on that you've been putting on it over time for smuggling, and you got the cards back to hand, so you can resource them back, so you can smuggle them out again to make reuse of their units and stuff. So a very nice way to play Cunning, probably a nice way to play it, but then all depends on the cards that you have to smuggle in to make use of Hondo. And now we're going to go into the yellow, like what kind of cards Hondo himself in his aspects offer, because we've seen the double green, but we haven't seen the green black or not just the green cards. And normally there are cards you can have that are just black, so you can have cards that are just black or just white. And while there are cards you can get in those the single aspects of black and white, or villainy and heroism, most of them are all about Imperials and stuff. And where Hondo's not an Imperial, you're not going to get as much benefit from those. So I don't think there's many, like, there are really any kind of like to kind of go over the kind of basically show, because there's not many actually work with him, but there are some good cards just the dark side of each one. So there's not many like dark, like just villainy cards that are good to use with Hondo. But for the dark side of green, you got some really good ones. You got Salacious Crumb here, being a 1-cost 1/3 unit. When you play it, you heal 1, so a bit of healing, which goes really well with some like healing with blue or with green. And also you got the action ability, like you can bounce it back up so you can keep using it, which is action. Tapping him, return back to his hand to deal 1 damage to a ground unit. So you can play him out to heal 1, and then the next turn after, tap him, bounce him back to your hand to deal damage to your opponent's unit, and then play it back out to draw 1, and just keep doing that for just 1 health, just to keep healing and pinging damage on stuff, which is pretty nice. You also got Warbird Stowaway, which is another card you can smuggle in. And this one, what not the most, is I think its small cost is 4 or 5, where normally it's a 3 cost of 2/3. But while you have the initiative, he gains an extra 2 power. So while you've got initiative for a turn, you have he's a little bit stronger at 4/3, which is kind of the same as the Shore Trooper, but you don't have to worry about certain resources just while you're on the initiative, which could be any point. You also have Super Laser Technician and a good card to ramp. So when defeated, you put him back in play as a resource. You can just ram into opponent's card. And you've also got Mole, which is a nice one. And Mole is quite cool in that you can even power him up with Hondo's things. And also it makes use of your underworld cards as well as Hondo himself. Because he's a 7 cost, 7/6 with Ambush and Overwhelm. So Ambush is like a Vader. Stronger, like better stats than Vader overall. And Overwhelm, so any excess damage he does when defeating a unit does go to your opponent's base. But on attack, you can choose a never-friendly underworld unit. So it could be Hondo, it could be something else. And if you do any combat damage Mole takes from that attack, goes to the card you chose instead. So you can kind of protect Mole so he stays healthy and harder to take down, because he has a lot of power and a good amount of health. Not only that, you also have a very good event in Overwhelm Barrage, allowing you to give a +2/2 at a cost of 5 resources to a unit, which is pretty good. Give 5 costs to give 2/2 stats, but not only that, you get to make that unit do its damage or do its power as damage among any amount among your opponent, well, any units in any way you like. So you divide the power of the unit as you choose as damage among units. So you can go ahead and ping 1 damage there, like 1 damage to each, certain amounts to 1, certain amounts there. But you can basically just buff up something like Mole to a 9 cost, and you have 9 damage spread out however you like across units on the board. Very nice card. And on the normal side of green, you got some pretty nice cards. You've got like Weequay, Wiki. Is it Weequay or Wiki? I think it's Wiki. Pirate Gang, being a 4 cost, 3/3, which is not too bad, but also a Smuggle cost, which I think is like 5. And it also comes with Ambush as well, so you can kind of like smuggle this in the Ambush, also give an experience from Hondo, and an Ambush and take something because it damage 4/4. So a pretty nice one you can smuggle in. You also got Collection Starhopper, being a space you can smuggle in. A 2 cost 2/2, but I think it's a 4 cost or a 3 cost you can smuggle it in for. You also got Artiquin's Assault Cruiser, being a nice one if you ramp up, like you want to kind of ramp up and drop this down because it's an 8 cost, 7/8, so pretty good power and pretty good health. Ambush as well, so you can attack the same turn it's played into opponent's unit. And then when he attacks and defeats a non-leader unit, you get to put the defeated unit into play under your resources you control. So if you take out one of your opponent's units with this, you get to put into your resources as a resource you control. So more energy, more play. So a very nice one that I can ramp up to. Not only that, you have like the event like a tiny adventure like we've seen before, a good event that you could smuggle in. And its effect allows you to play a card from your hand, still paying its cost, and give it Ambush for the phase. It kind of does the same thing as what you want to do with ELC, but then on an event as well, so you got more options to do that. Then lastly, we've got Resupply, being an event to help you, one of the events to help you ramp, one of the few ramp options you have, allowing you to basically pay it and put it into play as a resource to kind of ramp up quicker. So that is it for Hondo. So that is hopefully that's help you understand how to play Hondo. Now there are not too many smuggle cards in the game at the moment, but the more we get, the more options he has. So if you want to play Hondo, hopefully this video helps you understand how to build it the best way if you want to play it. If you want to go for double green for ramp, for blue for the defense, like kind of like healing and support and removal, red for the aggression, like an aggro, and then yellow for like the cunning control kind of way. Now that is it for today's video. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. And also remember, we are going for every single leader, so while we have done the blue ones, you can check them out. We've also got the ever green ones coming up, and the next one we're going to go for over is Jabba. So if you're interested in that, check it out. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.
Like a boss.